Three wins 1,000, 4,000.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Scott Silverian here from Sierra Interactive with your, I guess, monthly webinar now. Super excited to have, we got a lot of people online so far. We got a lot more coming on. So as usual, we'll give everybody a couple of minutes. We're not going to wait too long because our guest has a ton of super valuable information to share that I know everybody's excited about. I know I am with, the buzzword of the day, AI. So
Hmm.
this is going to be super cool. Question of the day to do our sound check and our chat check and make sure everybody can hear me. What temperature was it when you got up this morning? How about that one? For me, 5:30 in the morning, it was 6. Oh, -8 already beat me out of the
Wow.
gate. -8.
I
Oof.
thought 8 was bad. I had 8.
Oh man. Yeah, we were at 6 this morning. 19. Stuart, where are you from, man?
Oh, it's Stewart.
-8.
I know Stewart. Stewart's not too far from me. Were you sure it was -8? No, Stewart's lying. Using Celsius.
There's 6. We got another 6. Stewart's in Waltham. Right
Mhm.
on. I went to Bentley, amazingly enough.
Hell yeah.
So
Negative
awesome.
8, man.
What was the temp? Karen, was in the 60s. Well, you're not on the top of my list today, Karen. Um, 39, 56. All right. 70s in Palm Beach.
There it is.
My daughter just flew back to fellow Bentley grad. Right on, Jonathan. My daughter just flew back to Boca yesterday. So she's now in that 70-degree weather with Raymond in Palm Beach. So
Love Boca. I've got a house in Deerfield Beach, actually, just south of
oh, right
Boca. So
on.
I go to, in the
Yeah,
wintertime, I get out of here when it's -8, where it is where Stewart is, and
dude,
I go to Boca.
nice work. And it's
Oh.
funny because she actually extended her Thanksgiving break to stay here longer. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why do
She
you
must
want to
really
stay in
love you.
Colorado longer than than go back to Florida? But
No.
anyway, that was her choice. And we loved having her around. So it was good. -16. We have a new winner. I think that's the lowest I've seen so far. So
Sudbury.
holy cow.
Another Massachusetts?
Another Massachusetts, you guys are getting a cold spell.
Seriously.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the interaction here. Before we get going, one thing I keep telling myself to remember is those of you who are Sierra clients, I know we've got a good mix of both clients and non-clients. If you're Sierra clients and you haven't yet take advantage of our referral program, just a shameless plug to do that. We've got a great referral program in place where you guys can get credits on your account, potentially zero out your bill. So yeah, think about it. Send over your referrals, and when they close, you will get credit for that. So cool. Well, we're about 4 after, so I'm going to get this thing rolling, man. I'm super excited to have our guest today, Tim. Tim and I just got connected recently, and I'm excited about that because Tim is with FlyDragon. He started up this company new. I'm going to let him give you the spiel on it before he gets in. But Tim, why don't you give us? I know you're not new to the
Mhm.
real estate industry. Give us a little bit about your background. Tell us, where you came from, and then we can get into what you're doing with FlyDragon.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been, and thanks for having me. Thanks for everybody who's here, and hopefully get more people joining in from the warm climate. And if they're not, it's probably because they're outside enjoying life.
Right.
But I've been in real estate marketing now for a decade. And prior to co-founding FlyDragon just a year ago, because this whole AI visibility thing is brand new, I was
Yeah.
with a company called Curator. So I was their chief operating officer,
Sure.
working with Jimmy Mackin and Chris Smith, doing great things, helping listing agents get more listings. And then when AI came on the scene, it was clearly an opportunity I saw that to help agents in another way. And so, one thing I'll sort of let carry through today as a theme is treating ChatGPT and the other AI models as a marketing channel.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, we're super excited. Tim, I'm going to hand you the baton to
Let's
get
do it.
rolling and teach our audience here all about AI visibility.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. As I'm doing this, everybody, I've got 50 slides. So we're going to be moving fast. Scott's right. We got a lot of ground to cover, but I'd like everybody to drop in the chat. I need a number one in the chat. If you consider yourself to be one of the best agents in your market. So if you're one of the best agents in your market, or you think you are, drop a one in the chat. Not a time to be humble. I want to see what kind of audience we have today. We got ones. Okay. We got a handful of ones still coming in. Now, for those who are writing one or maybe just thinking one, I'd want you to now drop a two in the chat. If I were to go to ChatGPT and ask the question, who are the best agents in your market? Is your name in the answers? Drop a 2 for me. All right. Shelly, a few no's, a few 2s. That's fantastic. 2 some days. Fair enough. Awesome. Okay. So if you're not in the answers, everything I'm going to share here today is to help you get into the answers. And so what we do when I say AI visibility, it quite simply is helping real estate agents become the agent that AI recommends. I think over the last handful of months, this is really, I mean, we've been doing this for a year now, but you're hearing more webinars about it. You're hearing more real estate influencers talking about the topic. We've been doing this now for 70 plus agents and teams across the US and Canada. And so there's a lot of good information out there. There's some not so good information out there either. And so my hope here today is you walk away with understanding exactly what you need to do to become the agent that AI recommends. And so this right here, so this happens essentially, but this is, if you haven't already figured this out, this is my desired end state for you. This is one of our clients, Richard Berman. He's in Reno, Nevada, and he's averaging 1 to 2 listings every single month. He's about 6 months in with us at this point. Don't expect overnight successes unless you are already in the answers, of course. And you can see his average price point is 580, and the most recent listing is at $1.7 million. And these are straight up come list me phone calls. They've already done their homework. They trust AI on some level, and they just pick up the phone and say, I'm ready to transact. And so this here, if it wasn't already obvious, is exactly what I want to help you all with today. So everything that we do for agents, I'm going to basically help you to do this yourself in about 50 minutes or less. So the first step is perfecting your AI presence. Think of this as the housekeeping. This is not the sexy stuff, but it's actually super important. Who's ever changed brokerages, or who's ever changed their address or their phone number, or created a new website with a different URL, rebranded? Probably all of you. I'm willing to bet the vast majority of you have changed something along those lines. And if you do not go to the directories you're on, the platforms you're on, you're going to have what's called an inconsistent NAP, NAP, right? It's an acronym for your name, your address, and your phone number. And so this is a real agent here. We work with her now. We fixed all this. But what you're seeing here is Zillow profile has an address that does not match the realtor.com address, does not match the address on GMB. Incredibly confusing for the machines, both search engines and AI models. Different phone numbers, right? So if this looks like you are 100% confusing the machines, right? Chat GPT, and if I say chat, I mean all AI. It's not guessing, right? It's triangulating. It's looking for consistency. It's looking to verify you. And if you make it hard to be verified, you're going to get skipped over, and it's just going to move on to an agent who's easier to verify. So step number 1, I want everybody to audit your own NAP consistency. Now you can do this manually. You can go to Zillow and Yelp and Google and Fast Expert, all the places where you have a profile, and see, am I being consistent across the board? Am I making it harder for the machines to figure out who I am? I am all one entity. Or let me give you a shortcut. You can go to ChatGPT. You can toggle on deep research, and you can quite literally ask it to do it for you. My name is this. I'm on this team with this brokerage. Here's my address, my phone number. Here's a link to my website. Find all instances where my NAP is inconsistent. And you can also ask it a follow-on question. I do this all the time. Ask the question, find additional directories where I may not have a profile, but you recommend I should. And probably takes about 15 minutes to do the deep research. Grab some water, grab a coffee, come back, and you'll have a 10-page PDF, 5 to 10-page PDF, and it will quite literally tell you, hey, you told me this was your phone number, but this directory, this platform has this other phone number. Now, there may be a reason for it. Maybe you have a tracking number, but the idea here is step number 1, have a very consistent NAP across every directory on the web. Which goes into the next, again, this is not the sexy stuff, but it really does matter. And I'll show you an example or two why it does. So the infamous bio. How many of our bios read like the bio on the left, with a passion for real estate and unwavering commitment to client satisfaction, yada, yada, yada. Hey, it sounds good. You look like every other agent. Most consumers probably aren't reading the bios. But the reality is the models are, right? The machines are reading your bio. So step number 2 here in housekeeping would be author a machine-friendly bio. And what you see on the right, this is just sort of what we mocked up here, but calling out a couple here, specializing in condos above 1 million, 1 billion in sales throughout these locations, 2,000 transactions, awards you've received, right? This is a subjective question that we're asking Chad, or really the buyers and sellers are asking. Who is the best real estate agent in my market? So it's a subjective question. Well, the models have to find this answer somewhere. It's coming up. It's using criteria to determine this. And one way to do that is to make sure that when it's reading a bio or your website or third-party mentions, it's finding information that it would find useful to saying, yes, okay, by my measure, my standards, this agent is one of the best in the market. So I would recommend everybody look at your bio on the website, on Zillow, wherever you have a bio. Is it machine friendly? Is it helpful? Does it have your production, right? Your awards? That is incredibly important. And here's why. I'll get to here's why in the next slide. But this is sort of the end state for this section is you have all your profiles, Fast Expert, Google, LinkedIn, Zillow, Realtor.com, Rate My Agent, dozens of others. This is what gets fed into the models. This is how you get into the answers, or one of the ways. It's, again, hard to, even if you are number one in terms of sales production, let's say, in your market, if this is all messy, it's hard for the models to verify you. And here's the example. So we work with Reed. Reed's in Philadelphia, or the main line, right outside of Philadelphia. Tremendous experience, right? He's done over $1 billion in career sales, 100 million in the past year. Not in the answers, which didn't make sense to me. So it came our way. It's like, in fact, funny story, his brother was appearing ahead of him. His brother has less experience than him. It's like, I don't know why this is the case, because my numbers are just stronger. And he was right about that. Well, what we did for him initially is we made his bio machine friendly. We made sure he had consistent NAP. And then his Fast Expert profile was actually inactive, which is a huge problem for him. Now, if this is just a pro tip here, if you've never heard of Fast Expert, I would highly recommend claiming your profile. And don't think of it as, oh, great, Tim's telling me there's another directory out here where I have to go ask my clients to now leave me a review. It syncs with Zillow. You can manually import from other places like Google as well. So no additional work for your clients. But when we did these few things for Reed, as you can see here, he's appearing now as the top agent on the main line when you ask ChatGPT. He's also in the AI overview, and he's the first organic result. And he's in Google's AI mode, right? So he's kind of everywhere for AI. And it was only because we had to clean things up for him, among the other things that that we do for him as well.
Hey, Tim, if
So,
I could stop you there
yeah,
real
please.
quick. We had a
Yeah.
question in the chat, point of clarification. You mentioned the NAP needs to match everywhere. Do the bios need to match everywhere too? Like, are you literally just copying, pasting the bios in all those different platforms?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely. There's no reason
Okay.
to reinvent the wheel. So you can
Okay.
do that. Now, if you're particular about that, it's easy enough to throw that back into ChatGPT and say,
Right.
rewrite this, kind of follow the same character count or word count. Just give me a different variation for Zillow, right,
Okay.
versus the website.
Cool. So don't have to do that. It's more personal preference, but you can
Yes.
easily just copy them all straight across the board.
Yeah. Yeah. What we
Okay.
do for our clients typically is we create a couple variations. One longer one for the website and directories. Some of the directories, and I say a directory, I just mean a platform like a Zillow.
Okay. Gotcha.
Some of them have character limits that may be too short for the bio, so we cook up two versions. So there's the longer version, and then it's the same substance, it's
Gotcha.
just fewer words.
There's limited. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, keep the questions coming. All right, so this is what I call semantic triples. Okay, so who you are, what you do, where you do it. It's like it's a fancy word, but canonical identity, right? Your true identity. Tim Harvey is the best residential real estate agent in Upton, Massachusetts. I'm not. I have a license. I'm certainly not the best. Richard Berman is the best probate real estate agent in Reno, Nevada. Right. So who you are, what you do, and where you do it. I've used a couple of examples now where these are agents who have a tremendous amount of experience. So if you don't have $1 billion in career sales yet today, how do you compete, right? Especially if you're in these larger markets. Well, my recommendation is niche down. And so, actually, I'll just show you this here. So here's a great example. Nate Clark, client of ours. Nate's actually a friend of mine. We used to skydive together back in the day. And after he hung up his coaching license, he moved down to Austin. So he's not even from Austin. He's up here in Massachusetts. Moves to Austin less than 10 years ago, and he's done really well for himself. But he's in a market with 1 million people, with I think it's 25,000 real estate agents. Certainly doesn't have the most years in the trade. So how can he possibly be the best agent in Austin, or how can the models, more accurately say he is the best? So what we did recommended for him was, let's focus on a niche, whether it's a neighborhood, which he's like, I don't really have a neighborhood, or a couple of neighborhoods where I do most of my business. I'm going everywhere. I'm all over Austin. So I said, all right, well, what about something like probate? Just kind of throwing out a random idea. And he's like, oh, I do a ton of probate sales. I'm like, great. That's helpful because he has the experience. I think it's the most important thing is you have the experience, whether in the location or some sort of niche. And so now Scott, you didn't even see this slide when I shared the deck yesterday because I just put this together today. So I just did the searches today, and you can see he's appearing in both Google as well as ChatGPT for the best probate real estate agent in Austin. So don't be afraid. So if you're asking yourself, how can I compete? How can I swing for the fences and not miss? It's going to be hard unless you are a contender. So don't be afraid to niche down is my best advice here. Okay. So that's the housekeeping, right? Get the foundation set before you do anything, before you get into the on-page content, before you talk about off-page authority building. It's a three-legged stool that we're talking about today, friends. The first is what we just covered, right? Having the profile set up, making sure they're consistent in NAP, you have a machine-friendly bio, and you've thought about the semantic triples. Now you've got to talk about a content framework for your website. And more content is not necessarily equaling more traffic. Okay. If you skip certain steps, or if you're not, intentional with the content that you are putting on your website, if it's thin, if it's structured poorly, if it's, not unique, you just have more words on a website. So I'm going to kind of give you here the complete picture of the content that I'm going to recommend that you have on your website. And so notice I'm not saying you must have thousands of pages outside of your IDX. I'm not saying don't, but I'm saying it's not necessary. So for what we do for the clients we work with, and we've done that, we've created thousands of pages in markets all over North America. These are the pages that we see get cited and snippeted the most in ChatGPT and in the other language models as well. So just kind of break down what you see on the screen here. The first column, experience, you've got to prove that you are the best in your market. Recency, you've got to prove that you are active, right? You're transacting in the market today. And then relevance would be you've got to prove that you are the local authority. First two columns are pages. Third column are informational blog posts. And so I want to, and everybody will have this deck. This will be recorded, so don't feel like you have to write all this down. But I want to show you a couple of examples of how this works. So this is the cost of living up here, right? Cost of living in Upton. Is Upton, Massachusetts safe? Tips for moving to Upton. Upton versus Westboro, a neighboring town. Things to do in Upton. And then best neighborhoods, not applicable where I live out in the sticks, but would be certainly if you're in an area or a more metro market. So here's a cost of living blog we've created here for Caitlin Warren. She's in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And you can see here in this chat, in these chat results, again, ChatGPT is not making this information up, right? It's basically sourcing this information, and it's telling you the sources of those answers. So you see area vibes, you see apartments.com, you see Zillow, you see salary.com, national websites, a ton of authority. You oftentimes will see government websites. You don't always see real estate agent websites or the content of their site being cited. In this case, you do. And that just speaks to, you have to make sure that one, the site has authority, but you structure the content in the right way. This is just proof that AI is seeing Caitlin's website as an authority. It's seeing Caitlin as a subject matter expert. Otherwise, she wouldn't be being cited in the sources. And it's not just chat, like I've mentioned. It's Google's AI mode. You see her there. Yeah, it's Grok. And the most important thing, I think that's why we're all here, right, is the appointments. Right? When you get AI mentions, when you are in the citations, it results in phone calls. And so she's had a couple of appointments, actually 3 since I put the slide together. She had a third call, and her average price point is sub 300K. Right? So these are whether they're the come list me calls or they're serious buyers ready to move, likely with a pre-approval in hand. They are ready to transact. One more example of a page here is J Mark's page. This is the best agent page. If I double back real quick, right here, best realtor in page. I'm quite literally recommending everybody here creates a page on their website explaining that they are the best agent. Now, don't make any information up, right? Operating with integrity. But on this page, if I head back over here, you'll see, I'm going to share it with you, but you'll see how we structure the content, the heading 1 and the subsections like the H2s and H3s. A lot of it is in QA format. We're talking about awards. In this case, Jay has received. We're talking about his career sales over the last year, number of reviews, a bit about the market, and it has done a tremendous job at influencing the AI answers. That's all we're doing here, is making sure we're feeding it the right information so we're in the consideration set. And so you see Jay is in the answers for best agent in Flower Mound. And again, more importantly, a seller had reached out to him because they asked that same question: who's the best real estate agent in Flower Mound? And he told Jay, and this is me writing back, hell yes, that, oh, by the way, I used chat to find you and it recommended you as the top option. So scan this QR code. And what you'll see on the QR code is Jay's page. I want you to look at the page, how it's structured, types of, the type of information that we are putting on the page. And I would highly recommend you create one for yourself. Just giving everybody a couple seconds to scan it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Is anyone here focused on agent recruitment? Any indie brokerages here? If not, I can breeze through this part. One yes. Okay, I'll go through this in just a minute or two. The same principles apply. So the same principles apply. This is Chris Spiker. We were initially doing the production related content that I'm kind of talking about right now. And then after a handful of months, he was impressed by it. And he said, you know what, I actually want to focus on agent attraction. So he's with Real. And so what does that mean? Well, we need to make sure he's an authority for Real. For the content in particular, we need to make sure that we're answering specific questions that people would be asking. So we're like, it's keyword research. And so this is a chat conversation. I'm thinking about joining Real. What do I need to know? Or, who should I talk to first? And Chris is being cited in each of these answers, all but the first one. I will say this though. Chris was the second result. I just didn't put it in there because nobody calls me out, but he's effectively helping to write this answer. And it is only possible because we have the right content on his website for obviously common searches for agents interested in joining Real. And just a little bit of look behind the scenes at thespikergroup.com. So I'll just highlight this box over here. This is Ahrefs. It's an SEO software. If you've never heard of it, this is a new feature that they offer. I love this feature, but it actually tells us the citations. Where is this agent being mentioned? And so you can see roughly 300 AI mentions per month on ChatGPT, Google's AI overview, Gemini, et cetera. So you have to have the mentions for you to be in the AI answers. How do you get the AI mentions? You have to have the topical or location authority for AI to want to put you in the answers. And then that leads to this: phone calls. In Chris's case, agent who is interested in joining Real in Maryland wants to talk to Chris. So Chris sent me this, and of course, agents get excited when things happen, and so do we. So that's why we always ask for share the wins. We need to know what's happening. Okay, so we talked about the foundational pieces. We talked about the type of content, but I didn't get into yet the content, like how to actually create the content. You need a prompt system. So to be clear, we are using AI to write the content. We have human in the loop, which means we're not just simply writing, letting AI write the content and then publishing this to websites. We have a human in the loop who's editing this, obviously reviewing it, handling internal linking as well on the page. But you need a prompt. If you don't have a prompt and you're just, when I say a prompt, this is kind of what you're seeing here is a version of one of the prompts that we use. Typically, the content will be thin, it will hallucinate, it will not rank, is kind of the point. And so our prompt system, and we've spent hundreds of hours perfecting this, and every time chat releases the next model, throws us a wrench that we have to re-engineer. But this is think of it as a entire editorial team. So there's the research step for whatever topic we're writing on. There's the writing step. There's the editing step, the QC step. This saves a tremendous amount of time and capital for you. Like you don't have to go. I mean, a year ago we were hiring writers to go write this for us. It would take us weeks. It'd be incredibly expensive. That's why most agents don't invest in SEO. And when you have a prompt system like this is the results. This is what you see. So this is the clients we've been doing this for all year. On average, their traffic increases by 250% over the first, I want to say it was 4 months for the first two boxes, which equates to 1,500 organic visits. This is, again, organic, no paid in here. There's no direct traffic. This is just strictly helping agents drive organic traffic to their websites. The most important number on the screen is that one on the right there, which is on average, our clients are getting phone calls equaling 1.5 million every 6 months or so, right? Which is what really matters, right? So the point is the prompt system really works. And I want to give it to you today as a thank you for being here. If you scan this QR code, you will have access to one of our prompts. You'll have access to 25 minutes of instructional videos from another co-founder of ours, Ryan Durrani, who's British. So he's much more enjoyable to listen to than I am. But it'll walk you through how to use the prompt, not just the prompt to write any of the pages that I was just talking about a few slides back, but also how to optimize that. Again, so you're not just putting content on a site that never gets indexed or never gets any traffic, but actually gets traffic, gets towards the top of the search engines, and gets cited by AI. All right. So this is my favorite section. This is that third leg to the stool. So we've now wrapped up the on-site content. You have what you need to create the content on your site. The off-page authority is very important. Here's why. I can put whatever we want on our websites, okay? I'm not saying lie, but you can, in theory, put whatever you want on the website. You can fake the funk, you fake the numbers. But what are other websites saying about you? Are they saying a similar story? Again, it's triangulating. It's like, okay, J Mark's website said one thing. Is there a third party or parties that are saying the same thing? So third party mentions, as I'll call it, is a trust signal, is a very powerful trust signal. This is a screenshot from a White Spark report, and I could circulate the report because I think everybody should read it. It's incredibly helpful. Every year, White Spark puts out this very detailed report. What they do is they source information, they source input from 50 or so of the top SEO experts across the globe, and basically say, what are the factors? How are things changing? What are the ranking factors? Now, this is the first year that they had AI search visibility factors, because this wasn't a thing a year ago when the last report came out. Historically, it's just organic search, search engines in the local map pack. The ranking factors, they vary. And so this is the first year they put out the AI search visibility factors. And one of the things I wanted to call out is notice 5 of the top 7 search visibility factors are really off-page SEO. Again, I'm not saying you need thousands of pages. In fact, if you just focused on content, you're going to have a hard time ranking because you're missing the off-page authority, the backlinks, et cetera. So the first one you see here, it says the presence of your business on curated best lists. Okay, think of that as a third-party mention. Your business is on a roundup. Then the third one, prominence on key industry relevant domains, being on Google. Zillow as an example. Number 4, quality and authority of unstructured citations. You've got structured citations, which is basically just your NAP, like in a directory, and then unstructured would be the same information, your name, maybe the link to your website, your address, phone number, mentioned in blog posts or newspaper articles, government sites, again, off-page SEO. And then third-party sites where reviews are present would be, of course, Zillow, Google, Yelp, et cetera. And then here you get now quantity. So quality is always more important than quantity of those same unstructured citations. And then way down here at number 10, we have the structure of your content. So don't think 10 is not important. There's about 200 ranking factors just for AI search. So 10 is still important, but I want to illustrate the importance of the off-page authority. You can't sleep on that. If you're, and I think we have been for a while, just focus on the on-site content, you're going to miss the mark. You have to focus on it, but you cannot forget the off-page authority. So let me give you a couple of examples. Excuse me. So on the x-axis, you have authority. Y-axis, you have your local relevance. And you kind of want to be over here. All right. So you want to focus on maybe national PR, which is kind of in the middle, or local subreddits, which high authority, super high local relevance. And so those are the two that I'm going to focus on. So starting with subreddits. Now there are 100 million, I think it's weekly users last time I looked. It's a lot, right? A lot of people use Reddit. And it has been the number one source of ChatGPT citations up until recently. So a new model came out, it was 5.1. It's changed a little bit. And you can see here in this screenshot, the red line is Reddit. You see over the summer, Reddit was everywhere in the answers. It's really trusting user-generated content. It's kind of slipped a lot, actually, over the last 3 weeks. And the blue line's YouTube. YouTube's gone up. And so if you create YouTube videos, great, keep creating them. If you're not, you likely should. It's another opportunity to get your content into the AI answers. And so going back to subreddit for a second here, here's one example for Palm Springs. So moving to Palm Springs, you can see the subreddit. I'm thinking about moving to Palm Springs. If you think back 10 slides ago, the type of content or the examples of the content to create, one of them was moving to your market. So you can quite literally get into these threads and provide helpful, like genuinely helpful answers because you have the content now on your site. Now you get to this point, you say, you answer the question, I've been living here, however long you've been living here. I have a blog on my website that answers this specific question. You could even link to the blog on in the thread itself. But I guarantee there are dozens, if not hundreds, of subreddits in your market, depending on the size of your market. So I would definitely add this into the workflow of looking through the Reddits. What are people asking? And can you answer the question, whether you have it in your head or ideally you have the answer on your website? And as a fun story, I did this for Paul Kaplan. So he's a client of ours. He's in Palm Springs. And you can see it's an old thread a year ago. Who's the best realtor in Palm Springs? All right, I can't help myself. Here I am down here. This is a couple of months ago now. I didn't make this answer up. This is legit stats. Right? He sold 1,500 homes. He's ranked the first in Coachella Valley. He's done over $1 billion in career sales. Check him out. Now, he wasn't in the AI answers at the time. And so we periodically check, how are the models changing? They're always changing. The answers are always changing, right? There's a recency bias as well. So if we do something 3 months ago that gets an agent in the answers, that can quite literally fall out weeks later, months later, all depends. It all depends on the competition. And so in this case, a few days later, I ask the same question, and then lo and behold, I see Paul in the answers. I'm like, oh, there he is. Okay, what's going on here? And I looked at the source of why Paul's in the answers, and it's Reddit. And then it kind of reminded me that I did this, and it's verbatim, right? It's a quote from my Reddit thread. And so this is just to illustrate how user-generated content like Reddit can influence the models. This won't happen every time. So, don't send me an email, say I tried, it didn't work. Again, this is not the only thing we're doing for Paul, but in this case, it influenced the models for a period of time and got him in the answers, which was fun to do. All right, national PR. This is, I think, an incredibly powerful, I know it's an incredibly powerful tool to influence the models. So again, we create this page. You all can create this page, the best realtor in your market or for, a specialty, a niche. And that's one step, right? You create the page. Well, then what we do is we create a press release, whether it's Access Newswire. I mean, there's so many out there that exist that you can leverage. And then we write a press release. Very similar content to what's on this page over here. Structured differently, but same content. Again, we're talking about the agent's production, career sales, some recent reviews we pull in, a bit about the market, awards, accolades, And we even link from the press release to the agent's website, even back to this page itself, try to grab some of that link equity. It's a very strong backlink. And these press releases get syndicated, not all of them, but in Access Newswire does this, syndicates across hundreds of websites. So this press release could be in Access Newswire, Yahoo Finance, and hundreds, literally hundreds of other websites that have domain authority. So when you have, this is if you ever heard of backlinking, when you have a website with authority that links to your website, in essence, it's improving your website's authority, right? It's an upvote of confidence that says, oh, okay, Caitlin's website must have authority because sites like Access Newswire are linking to her. Now, call back to the foundational stuff, right? Zillow and Fast Expert, YouTube even. There's a field for your website. And I think most businesses don't realize this. That's a backlink opportunity. And those are super strong domains. So I would make sure, go to Zillow. Is that your main website? Is it an old website? Is it even redirecting? Maybe it was an old domain that you have redirecting to the new domain. If that's the case, you don't have the backlink from Zillow. So when you have a lot of reputable backlinks, it's not just quantity, right? It's really quality of backlink. It improves your website's authority, which just makes it easier for AI to trust you as the best agent in your market. So it's all about stacking proof. It's basically what I'm saying. And then this is what happens. So for Caitlin, that same example, best condo realtor in Gatlinburg, you see the first organic result on Google is that Access Newswire press release. You see there's a page we created on her website, and then there's a press release on Yahoo Finance. So she's dominating the top 3 positions for this particular query or keyword, which is about, I think last time I looked, I think the top 3 organic results get 70% of the click share, which is incredibly powerful. So just kind of showing you how it all sort of ties together. And then again, here's another example, ChatGPT. So this is breadcrumbs leading AI back to you. Everything I'm talking about here, it's just think of it as breadcrumbs leading AI back to you. Now, tying it all together, kind of wrapping up here. Number 1, citations. The profiles I mentioned at the beginning, not only have them, because I'm sure most of you have them, but making sure they're consistent. Name, address, phone number, link to your website. Make sure that it's not an old brokerage as well. Make sure you have the machine-friendly bio. Make sure you're thinking about and writing in the semantic triples that makes the most sense for you and your business and where you are today. And then the content, the on-page content. How are you structuring the right way? Do you have the right pages? Are you targeting the right keywords? All of that together equals you are seen as the local authority in the eyes of the machines. And then authority would be the off-page authority, right? So the third-party mentions, the user-generated content, the press releases, getting featured in agent roundups. There's so many opportunities out there to be featured in an agent roundup. In fact, you could even I've done this. You can go to ChatGPT and ask and say, I'm a real estate agent in this market. What are some opportunities for agent roundups to be featured in to build my own authority? And you'll probably get a handful. Some of them are pay to play. Others you have to submit for, sort of like an award. Others you just have to send an email and ask and see if they'll let you on the list. But when all this, because it has to be working in conjunction. 3-legged stool, right? It'll fall over if you're only focused on 2 or 1. But you have this all working together in conjunction. It equals more traffic. It equals more AI mentions. And that's exactly how you take advantage of the AI gold rush that is literally here today. It is here. And that's how you become the agent that AI recommends. And so if you do everything that I just mentioned, right, you're going to put more distance between yourself and the other agents. I know, I've been doing this for a year now. I've been doing it with a lot of agents. More and more agents are figuring out this opportunity. A lot of it's by happenstance because their phone's ringing and they're hearing people say, I'm calling you because I saw you in ChatGPT. So now they're kind of in tune to this. Like, wow, there's an opportunity here. How can I get more of this? How can I get higher in the answers or in the answers for more fan out queries? So my point is there is a window of time, but if you wait until 2026, that window is going to close as more and more agents become savvy to the opportunity here. And so the second to last QR code I have for you is our AI visibility blueprint. It's I've got more to share is the point. It's everything I'm saying here in a PDF, in addition to other things as well. And so go ahead and scan that. And I think if you found what I just shared here over the last 40 minutes useful, you're going to find the PDF useful. And now, Scott, I know I'm not the only one who has things to share, things to talk about today. I know you want to talk a lot about the great platform you have as well.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. And look, before we get into that, Tim, I appreciate you being here. You really provided an amazing amount of value. And the thing I was noticing is, I mean, what the tools you gave us are you gave information that people can take action on right
Hmm.
away, right? Like now, whether you want to follow that blueprint from start to finish on your own is up to you, but there's at least a few steps in there that everybody here can do. Um, as an agent, I'm on this webinar and I'm like, you know what, dude, I can take care of that first step. I'm going to go ahead and make sure my NAP is consistent across the board and my bios are consistent across the board. But then, I need to be out there prospecting, finding leads, selling houses. Like, I don't have time to learn all this stuff. And oh, by the way, next month, the chat's going to change the game anyway. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about how you can help me as an agent, and what that engagement would look like.
Yeah. So we are exclusive by market. I think it's the most important thing to call out. We do not want to work with multiple agents in one market because then we're going to have competing priorities. There's only
Sure.
so many agent names in that box when you ask the question. There's only a finite number of searches or AI questions being asked for best realtor. So we only work with one agent per locality, town or city. And let me just stop this for 1 second. I'll pull up the
Yeah.
website. Let's see here. And I'll drop the link as well. Oh, let me stop this. Here we go. So if you go to goflydragon.com, if you're interested, because Scott brings up a good point. Everything I gave you is what we do for agents and more. But if hey, I don't have time for that, I need to be out servicing clients. Go to
Right.
the website, take a look. You can book a call with me. You'll talk to me directly or Ryan. He's in this video right here. And if I scroll down, you'll see our calendar right here. So you can book a call. And we offer different packages. We've got 3 different tiers here. And it really depends on a couple of different things. The population, the concentration of agents, how competitive is the market? Where do you sort of stack rank? Are you already
Okay.
kind of outside the results? Are you 20th? So it does require a conversation to figure out, what solution works best for you.
Okay.
But yeah, I would love to, if anybody's interested in getting this off their plate and letting us do it for you, it's a done for you solution, and just book the call on the website.
Cool. And I see, so it's a 6 month commitment, and you've been in business or you've been doing this for a year now. I mean, how long are people typically working with you? I mean, I would imagine like once you get started, like me as an agent, I want to keep it going, right? Like I don't want to just plug this in
Yeah.
and and then pull it out and then forget about it, right?
Yeah, yeah, we've been incredibly lucky that everybody has stayed on with us at this point.
Great.
I think one exception, and it wasn't really the best fit. And you're right. I think people like Richard, who's doing 2 listings per month on average, he could turn this off, but then he's lost that the moat that's around
Sure.
position number one. The analogy I draw is Google Business Profile. So if any of you
Yeah.
on the call or watching the recording are blessed enough to be in the top three, are you taking your foot off the gas? Are you trying to get more
Yeah.
reviews, more content? Because you're getting the lion's share of phone calls in the top three of the map pack, or the top few results on chat. So yeah, most agents say no. Let's keep going. In fact, what else can we do? Can we add more?
Yeah.
Can we do more so we can really pour gasoline on the fire?
Cool, cool. And Sierra being one of our strengths obviously is SEO and our proprietary SEO framework. To me, a lot of what you're saying is a lot of what I'm hearing from the people that are going deep into SEO in regards to the types of content to create, going super niche, not, going for not necessarily for volume of pages, but for specific pages. Do you see what you guys are doing as you're focusing on that AI visibility? Do you see that sort of pouring over into SEO results as well?
Sorry, I think my audio cut out there for a second. So
Okay.
I heard you say the proprietary with SEO, and then you
Yeah,
cut out for
so
4 seconds.
a lot of what you taught us today is the same thing I hear from people who are doing really well in SEO, right? The content creation,
Yep.
being super niche in your market. Are you seeing the results? Are your agents seeing
Oh yeah.
results of the
Got it.
AI? Is that overflowing into their SEO results
Yeah,
as
no,
well?
great question. So this is interesting. So here's something that I've noticed. When I see agents who have clearly invested in SEO, whether I have access to their Google Search Console or I'm using Ahrefs, a third-party tool, or they just tell
Yeah,
me, I get 2,000 organic visits per month. they're not always, in fact, seldomly are they the agents in the AI answers, which is interesting. And it kind of speaks
Okay.
to the White Spark survey. However, the agents who are in the AI answers oftentimes do have high domain rating, high organic traffic. Because again, where's chat getting the answers from?
Yeah.
Search, Google, Bing. So if you're not high in the rankings, you're probably not in the answers, or at least sticking for a long period of time. But the interesting, it doesn't always work the other way around. So I know plenty of agents
Interesting.
with a lot of traffic, and early on, prediction was, well, maybe we can help them. There's a shortcut that maybe is our ICP. Let's work with those agents.
Yeah.
They're not there because maybe they're focusing more heavily on the on-page content, and they're missing some of the other signals that we talked about today.
Okay. So if I'm an agent and hasn't done anything, right? Like I just launched a Sierra website, or I've had a Sierra
Mhm.
website for a while, and I just really haven't focused on content creation. Um, you're going to help them with the AI search, and does that will they also start appearing in the SEO search? I wasn't clear about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
because
Okay.
to get into the answers, like you can't. It's hard to have a. Let's just use an example for Caitlin, the Gatlinburg example. Uh,
Yeah.
let's say pros and cons of moving to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. If that page is not indexed, or on page 3 of the Google SERPs, it's probably
Yeah.
not in the AI answers because
Gotcha.
when you look at the citations, it's typically page 1 of Google. So you kind of have to make sure that you are. So I don't say we're a traditional SEO agency, but by nature of
Yeah.
getting agents in the AI answers, we kind of have to make sure that we are focusing on
Gotcha.
traditional search as well. It's not our
Okay.
North Star
Cool.
metric,
Cool.
but we have to, it's a prerequisite.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So, and if I am focusing a lot on SEO and I really want to now start getting that AI visibility as well, do you guys do like almost an audit of what they're doing in
Mhm.
SEO to get a baseline and a foundation so then you can build on that for the AI visibility?
Yeah, we have to. That's why you
Yeah.
can't just
Cool.
purchase FlyDragon on the website. We have to understand what's already happening. We have to understand
Gotcha.
what's going on behind or underneath the hood of the website platform that they're on. They're not all created equal, but I could say, and this is how Scott and I got connected. Sierra is one of the better platforms for SEO, like
Yeah.
bar none. So it's a natural opportunity for us to kind of bring the communities together to
Right.
talk about these things. But yeah, we have to go through this process of we do the NAP audit, like everything we talked about, like we are doing that for you. We're finding the opportunities.
Yeah.
We have to see the competitive landscape as well. You may have 500 visits per month organically by accident, but what about the competitors? What
Yeah.
keywords are they ranking for? Is there a
Yeah.
delta that we need to kind of close the gap on? So we are looking
Cool.
at a lot of different signals. It's not cookie cutter. We have to consider the competitive landscape, consider where your domain's authority is
Yeah.
today, and the things that you're doing, and even your production, like where you rank. Because we're not going to partner with an agent who wants to rank first in San Francisco and has sold 5 homes this year. It just wouldn't be
Right.
fair to them. We can't help you, but we can help you in a neighborhood or with a special niche. So it becomes sort of a consultation.
Cool. Awesome. And I'm going to ask you to put that last slide
Yeah.
up again as we're talking about this. So, for those of you, obviously for our clients, we're super happy you're here. If you are our client, we preach SEO. You've probably seen some other webinars. So whether you're doing it or not, it sounds like Tim can sort of pour gas on the fire, and really take it to another level. And if you're not a client yet, you want to find out more about how Sierra can help you in your business, and thereby how Tim can help you sort of take that to another level. Go ahead and take a picture of that QR code there. Set up a demo with our team. We'd love to learn a little bit more about what you're doing in your business, and how Sierra and talk about how Sierra can help you there. So. Well, I'm not seeing any other. I'm seeing a lot of thank yous in the chat, Tim. I'm not seeing any other questions. So, with that, dude, I really appreciate it. Like, I was sitting here, I'm like, this is an awesome presentation. I mean, the value you brought was terrific, and I love that it was like actionable information. So,
I appreciate
um,
that.
yeah, man, I appreciate you being here. I'm looking forward to a tighter partnership between organizations, and want to thank everybody for tuning in today. And if we don't see you or talk to you beforehand, I don't know if we have another webinar set up yet or not. Have a great holiday season, whether you're in negative temperatures or not. And if we don't talk to you before then, we'll see you again next year. Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Tim.
Thanks everybody.
Take care.